fully trusting your own mind when you get introduced to new information and then it's repeated several times. Like when I was pro-choice, quote unquote, and I know you were for a while as well, it's because you were just fed this and you never thought about it and you never had a child. So literally in my mind, it was obvious that it's like rape and incest, a woman's body, woman's right to choose. I'm libertarian, of course. And then like once it starts unpeeling and you're like, oh my God. Like
you actually start to think for yourself instead of just taking something for granted that's just been repeated to you 1,000 times. That's the difference.
I know. And they're starting to do, like they do that in movies and they do that all the time, man. It's like they depict, like if you go back to the 1940s and 50s and stuff and you look at how America's depict and how marriage is depict, it's like America's awesome. Marriage is great. You know, work hard, be an independent cowboy and stuff. Now it's like America sucks. Marriage went badly. You know, like polygamy and nonsense is what the hero does. It's like, look at what they did to Star Wars. Star Wars was the hero's journey, and now it's literally this postmodern soup of nonsense. And that affects how kids see the world.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lack of trust, I think, with now people who are making entertainment between them and the audience. You know, you can trust your audience to do some of the homework in their head. You know, they can figure out what these character motivations are. You don't have to spell everything out and say, well, and here's the moral of the story, and you should think this way because this person is the bad guy and this person is the good guy. It's like, well, let the audience do some of that work. You know, that's part of art too, is like, I don't need to explain everything about a piece that I've done. I'm going to let the viewer do some of their own and fill in the blanks themselves. That's okay.
Exactly. Like let them, that's like letting someone learn how to learn or letting someone make the journey themselves is a very right-wing position. The left-wing position is the the constant safe space, feeding every aspect of everything to the person. And I think that that's happening in our culture to a ridiculous degree.
Yep.
And it's crazy what's happening in entertainment and to watch it happen where it's like, I just had another thought that I kind of missed because I'm reading a couple of what people are saying and people are loving you, bud. So don't think for a second.
I love them. Hey, I wouldn't be here if people weren't looking at my stuff. So I appreciate it.
But I know a lot of people because you're a pretty soft-spoken guy. And I know a lot of people think that like, they don't like to go and to be interviewed. It's like, you even said that earlier. You're like, I don't know what I have to say. It's like, no, you're doing interesting shit. It's like some people get so obsessed with like, oh, I've seen you in movies. So what do you think about politics? It's like, well, I'm LeBron James. I know a lot about shooting basketball. So let me tell you about the trade war. It's like, fuck you, LeBron.
There's a lot of crossover in that, right?
Yeah. Let's see what we got here.
Is there a basketball crossover? No,
Artling is awesome for playing KSP. Was that?
No. No, that's Kerbal. That's the rocket game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like nonsense.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm really bad at the game, but I love space. Love that you got Skype working, Big Bear. Thank you, Bear in Space.
Sweet.
Draw a sword. Someone wants you to draw a sword. Well, it's time for you to make a sword.
Get your sword. I'll draw the sword that you get, and then it'll work.
As soon as I get a sword or a machete, Hartling will draw it.
There's a severe lack of swords in this house.
Pale Bear says, need more of these prints available in the store.
Oh, we got to figure something out. I don't have a good printing solution at this time, but we can figure something out if there's demand for it. So,
well, yeah, I mean, and also his Patreon is patreon.com/Artling_Hartling if you want to throw a couple bucks to him.
And I put the full resolution images that I'm making up there for the patrons. So, you know, I'll post everything else on Instagram, but if you want like the full big fat download, you can go on and become a patron, and then you can download it.
Wait, yeah, and I'm gonna give Artling these super chats, the ones aimed at.
What?
Yeah, no, that's the move. I think that's gonna be my move, unless I'm talking to someone richer than me. Then I'm not. All right, someone says, love you, Big Bear. Check out Vets for Child Rescue. #V4CR. Stay strong, brother. #USMC. I love that. I love people that actually help children. That's one thing that sets me off is when anyone is on the wrong side of anything that has to do with children is when I'm like, fuck you. I don't care what you've done for me, you know?
Yeah, go straight to your heart, man. But again, becoming a father thing changes everything. It's so easy to want to come up with, whatever policy or however you want to change the world and all stuff if you don't have kids, because, you don't really have that much invested in the future. So
100%. Because it's like you're planting trees for when you're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark says, Artling, I was a visual arts major, but didn't let myself lose to the postmodernist theme promoted in school. Your thoughts on that?
Luckily, I kind of scraped by without having to deal with that. I came from a very traditional background, like classical art. So figure drawing was my focus. So, just learning basic anatomy and looking at the masters and all that stuff. So I didn't have to deal with any of the trash that is all this postmodern art crap. I can't stand it. I see the arguments, and it's like, oh, anything can be art. This canvas painted red, I'll charge, $8,000 for it. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Technically, yes, anything can be art. We can have that discussion. Is it good? Yes, there is an actual objective good in this case. No.
Well, I think it's monetizing white guilt in certain ways. Like Jean-Michel Basquiat monetized white guilt.
Yeah.
He literally just was like, fuck it, 20 million. And they're like, he's black. Okay. Yeah. And it was like insane to watch, where it's like,
well, I can't go to any of the galleries in Portland. They have a thing called First Thursday once a month, and they open up all the galleries. And I used to go all the time many years ago, but it's like it's all pandering to, I don't know what crowd they're pandering to, because people are apparently paying that much money for this stuff.
I'll tell you who they're pandering to, and it's the same reason why I have such a problem with nihilism. It's people that want to live in a subjective world so they don't have to face what's been done to them, what they've done to people, and how life is full of pain. Where it's like, okay, if you live in a subjective world where you just forgive everything and do anything, it's so easy and painless, but it sucks. So it's like, if you say like this, man, like sounds better than... No, that's postmodernism. So it's like to just say a dot of shit on a white canvas is better than a beautiful painting. When you accept that, what you're accepting is that life has no meaning. There's no right or wrong. Skill does not matter. And that, the fact you rape kids isn't wrong. It's evil people that are trying to do this.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to be like, who are you to tell me who, it's crazy. And it's in our art. It's in our politics. It's in all this shit. And that's why, I'm so open about some of the dramas in my life, is because I'm like, this is a microcosm of what we face in a big way. So hopefully we can learn from it,
Yeah, yeah. But with the nihilistic side of it, it's like thinking it's just everything's random. It's nothing means anything, and it's like, oh, the universe just assembled itself out of all these atoms. It's like, well, I'm moving these atoms very purposely in this particular way because it makes me feel this way. I don't care what you say. It's like, that's not like random.
and they don't get to say like, I am a determinist. It's like, if you're a determinist, you can't have I am. That's an action. I will go to. It's like, you will do whatever your impulses tell you. Like person, like trying to become an animal or a zombie. And like, this stuff matters to me, man. It's like, it really does matter. And that's one reason why I apologized about the Rogan thing. It's a great microcosm where he showed he believes in right and wrong by calling me and trying to hash it out. That wasn't a nihilistic move. And so I respected that, even though I disagree with like 9,000 of his opinions, because I just want to promote a culture that believes in right and wrong and objective reality. And one thing I'll say is your perspective is subjective. Like how you view something, how you feel about something, what your experience brings to a thing, but that doesn't change the thing. And that's something that's a trick used by leftists that I hope people can learn, is when someone says, well, as a coal miner, I don't appreciate when you burn like logs. And it's like, well, as a lumber guy, I don't appreciate when you, okay, our subjective lives are going to affect how we view the fire, but that doesn't change the fire or the logs or the coal.
There's a mental exercise that you have to go through just if you're drawing from life, is trying to overpower what your brain thinks it's seeing with what is actually there. And it's a constant struggle, because our brains want to level things out. We want to like straighten curves. We don't want to we want to make things certain proportions.
Want to remove the blacks from the neighborhood.
but it's a subjective thing. So it's like you need to look past that and see what's actually there. But you can't, because you can, but it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of people they don't have the effort. They don't want to put in the effort.
It's a healthy distrust of your own mind. You have to leave breadcrumbs. I swear to God, you have to be like, when this happens, feel this way, because you won't trust yourself in the future. That's like me with alcohol, where I'm like, I'll drink beers with bears, but I'm not doing shots with strangers because I don't know what that Owen is capable of. And you have to know that going into it. You know? And it's like that with thoughts, where you're like, if this person does this, or if I am presented with facts that disprove my opinion, you have to change your mind, or else you're a liar. And that's going to hurt when it happens.
It always, I mean, it's burning the dead wood, as it were, you know. I've had to do a lot of that. And I mean, the person that I was, or at least almost all the beliefs that I had 20 years ago, I'm completely different. And, you know, you have to be willing to listen to an argument. You have to be willing to accept facts, and then change your mind. That's the big step. It's like, anybody can listen to it, but you can still just dismiss it, even though you might know in your heart that you're wrong, but you just keep fighting because it feels better to be right.
And you got to let yourself be vulnerable. Like, I just put myself in a crazy vulnerable position. I publicly apologized to Rogan. He didn't publicly say shit about me, so he has the ability of doing anything he wants. I have to accept that. It's like that with marriage and love and family and stuff. It's like, my wife can leave me at any point. I didn't get a prenup because I don't want... I want full commitment to this marriage, and I want to be like, listen, it could go south. She could leave me. She could divorce me. She could take my children. Some people won't have kids because they're scared a woman will take their kids. That could happen.
Yeah,
like Joe Rogan, with what I just said, could just fuck me up. You know, I just exposed vulnerability. He could easily just be like, bam, bam, you know. But if you don't allow yourself vulnerability, you just end up becoming atrophied. You're atrophy of the soul. You know, Adam Carolla talked about that at Congress when he talked about how if you don't use a muscle, or like when you're in space, your muscles atrophy, and we're doing that to our souls.
Yeah, you have to be willing to put the trust out there, and if you want to call it faith out there, that if you are doing what's right in your heart, and and feel like you are being vulnerable in that way, I think that's the only way to live, because otherwise then you're just sitting there just being angry about it and bitter, and it just grows in you and makes you just an angry person.
Yeah, it'll change your entire personality.
Yeah.
One thing I was joking about with him, and I promise in the future I'm not just going to talk about Rogan. It was yesterday. I was like, dude, how funny would it be if I just start talking all kinds of shit like I'm going to beat your ass, and then we like actually fight and you just fucking knock me unconscious? No, because I thought that'd be hilarious. I'm like, I'll fight you for real. I know I'll lose in 3 seconds, but like, imagine if I'm like, Joe Rogan's a fucking pussy, and then it's just bam, and I'm just out. And he's like, it's so funny. He goes, bro, that can really change a person's brain. Like, he's like, I've seen people get fucked up and they're never the same again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was mostly joking, but good point. And I started thinking about that. It's similar, like the head traumas with that is similar to like a soul trauma, where it's like, if you allow certain things to pass in your life, or if you don't come clean about certain things, your soul will never be the same, Yeah,
I think it manifests itself in everything that you end up doing in all of your interactions the rest of your life. It really does.
Because you can't trust yourself. One of the reasons I can be so instinctual is because I trust myself, because I'm not going to manipulate myself. Like you have a relationship with yourself, and it's like when your self says, hey man, you're fucking wrong. And you go, shut up, dude. That's going to make me look like a pussy, and people are going to call me a cuck, and then I'm going to feel real sad. Just be like, are you sure, self? And your self's like, yeah, I'm sure. If you don't listen to yourself, a year later, your self is gone. Like, you don't have anybody telling you shit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read the last couple ones, and then
Sounds good.
let's just. All right, this is from James. Hey, man, I employ some artists, but after a few bad experiences, I've come to not trust Western artists due to bad experiences. Do you think they are overly self-important, or just a few bad apples? Arling Hartling, I give you the floor.
I think there's going to be, I would hope there's going to be a resurgence in Western art. I think, people will start to look back at some of the classical stuff, and that'll find its own resurgence. And there was a bit of that even when I was in college, because the teachers that I had they were railing against postmodernists. And this is like 2004, 2005. So I kind of feel like I got out of that system before it started getting real ugly. But I do think that there's hope out there still for art. Especially, it's hard because for the personality type that it tends to be creative, they tend to be more of the open personality type. I think Peterson talks about that. So creativity kind of is associated with openness, where if you're a more conservative person, you tend not to have that openness, and you don't find as many conservative creative people. So it's a little bit of a contradiction, and so they're out there. I'm looking for them too.
I consider dudes like me and you. I consider myself, and I think you. I would almost describe myself as a liberal conservative. Where like I'm very open to a point where I can embarrass myself publicly with the drop of a hat. But like I'm open to find the right answers, and the right answers to me so far have been conservatism and libertarianism, where liberalism to me is nonsense, where that's accepting a state of chaos. And I think that nowadays leftism is such tyranny that if you're an open-minded artist and you consider yourself a liberal, you're kind of full of shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a longer journey to get there, but yeah, I think you're right on that, actually.
All right, last two.
Yeah.
All right, so grinding the machete right now while I listen. Thank you, Philly Knife and Tool. I'm guessing that's your business. So Philly Knife and Tool, everybody. Sergeant Peterson gave us $17.76. Couple beers for you too. Art needs a little propaganda. Hell yeah. And then the last one comes in hot and generous from Papa Bear himself, George A. Crocker. For our artists, art serves, quote unquote, for glory and for beauty. Exodus.
Oh. Wow, I like that.
Yeah, good times. All right, so where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram under Artling_Hartling. That's ARTLING, and then HARTLING. And you can find me on Twitter at Arona1981. That's ERONA 1981. That's kind of my only two places right now. My YouTube channel is just my name.
How bad is your eyesight?
It's the worst. I can see. Let me see. If I take the glasses off, things are in focus about right here. If I move it this far away, it's completely out of focus. So I have like the world's worst eyesight, on top of having a condition called nystagmus that I was born with. So my eyes are constantly shifting back and forth, so I can't focus on a point. It's pretty crap.
If you did live streams like me and you had that eye problem, dude,
it's the worst.
Comments all the time where people are like, "Look at Owen's eyes. It looks like he's reading something. CIA got to him." I'm dead serious, and that's why I can't read all the comments anymore, because I'm like, how do I convince these people that the CIA have not gotten to me? And then I'm like, wait a minute, Owen, this person might be fucking insane.
Yeah.
All right, man, you're the man. I'm about to come downstairs and hang out with you.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, thanks for the setup. All right, guys, that was a success. This is going to be awesome for the podcast. Let me put it back to the main. I'm doing Jesse Lee Peterson's show tomorrow. That should be fun. I'll read the comments. I did read the comments. Oh, get the book that I sent. Oh, I got to open up tons of stuff. I really apologize. Very soon I'll do another opening session. What'd you guys think? Talk to me. I'm in the normal. Captain Cutler liked it. That's awesome. I respect Cutler. When it's Clavenon Knowles, I'll figure that out now. I've talked to those guys very recently. Hartling was a little louder than Owen. We'll figure that out. That's a good thing, because a lot of times it's the opposite. A lot of times it's Owen, you're so much louder than your guest. Why are you controlled by the CIA? So if anyone should be louder, it should be my guest. So I'm cool with that. Dave Smith. Oh, dude, I'll have Dave Smith on immediately. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be on Jesse Lee Peterson. I'll do another live stream tomorrow. I love you guys. This has been fun, and I'm glad that everybody's been cool, and we're just moving on with our lives. HugePianist.com to see Reluctant Warlord that was shot by Artling Hartling, or you could get tickets to the tour that are going. They're selling, so that's the Persona Non Grata tour. We're going to shoot another special probably in West Palm, but we're going to shoot all of them. We're going to bring bass techs and do sound, and we got Coddington shooting them, and Dulev is flying in from Israel. Much love. Thanks for being so understanding, everybody, for me being a dick about someone for like 2 straight weeks and then just apologizing and not killing me too hard, even though I probably deserve some. But it's been fun. I'm out, and have a great Sunday, everybody. Have a good time with your family and stay hydrated, even though H2O is an overrepresentation of H's. You know, we need to get some HO equality. That's in the new leftist fitness instructor, by the way. Some real funny shit in there. Mental gymnastics, feel the burn, but not in your muscles. Bernie Sanders, the communist agitator. Dodging questions. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Why is killing a pregnant woman double homicide, but yet you can killing a fetus isn't murder? You're racist. You're sexist. You're a bigot. You're a homophobe. Dodge, dodge. We're shooting sketches today. And sorry, I'm just resetting my thing here. Ho, 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 ho. In Hartling, we're shooting sketches today, like Shylock, anti-Semitic. Another installment of leftist fit. That's why I kinda look like a gweep. Set me up with Skype, so we're gonna test it right now. Hey guys, how is audio? Because we just have to adjust some audio stuff. Audio okay? All right, sweet. I'm good. Awesome. Welcome. I am going to interview Hartling, who directed my last special, Reluctant Warlord. He's a lot of awesome paintings. Last Bernie Bro. .com for tickets to my tour. Got like 150,000 views or something, but apology to Joe Rogan. Yeah, it never feels good on the ego when you admit you're wrong. I like to leave a trail of breadcrumbs back to my sanity. I have check marks. Outspoken, and so my beliefs, even right, so I can't have a belief I don't have confidence in. And as soon as I started talking to Rogan, about a half hour, it started really hitting me wrong. That's the biggest problem I have with a lot of leftists. And if I don't practice what I preach, if I become what I'm always criticizing, there's nothing to fight for anymore, because I would just be the garbage. Rogan asked me questions. Started with we're just yelling at each other, you know. No punches pulled. Called me, which is already cool. Like, it already impressed me. That already was like, all right, here we go. And the two questions that really got me, he said, "What did I do to you? What did you ask of me that I didn't do?" I started sounding off sounds about Trump. There's something called Russia collusion. What's your evidence? Well, he like a jerk, and he had sex with Stormy Daniels, and he's tried to have a steak company that failed, and he has orange hair. And like, what's the Russia collusion evidence? And so I can't be what I hate. And he's, "What did I do to you?" I said, "Well, last time I was on, you embarrassed me." He goes, "I didn't know that Kurt was going to do that. You understood that I'm alt-right." I'm like, "You back for this. You didn't have." So we argued back and forth until it became obvious that I had to read his mind and have something really to actually hate him. I'm not going to be that, because I'm just completely up honest with myself. I regret not back more last time I was on. Doesn't owe me anything. And some people, I can't read comments anymore. That's one thing. I'll read the top comments, but I'm not just going to like, I used to have my phone by me when someone would comment. There's a lot of out there that just want to. But I saw some comments on Instagram like, "Yeah, but he still is a flip-flopper. He still sold out Alex." That's the Trump derangement problem. Like if I start doing purity tests for people in my life, I'm a leftist. So I apologized, and I'm sure I'm going to get thousands of people telling me I'm a pussy and all that. Because the thing I feel the worst about is when people have your back and they're like, all right, Big Bear, I love you. Let's go full steam ahead. And I made the wrong call because I can be impulsive. That's when I feel like a real jerk, because so many of you guys trust me as a leader, but as a historian and as a history buff, one of the worst things you can do as a leader is just double down when you've made the wrong call. Like in World War like some of the generals and, the Kaiser and Ludendorff and all these guys, like they would have a strategy that didn't work, and they would just keep pressing, which would lead to the death of millions of young men, because they wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, this was the wrong move. So I'm sure I'll get heat. I'm sure people will bail on me. I'm sure people think I'm crazy or whatever, but I couldn't I couldn't keep going with something that I then realized wasn't true. I never asked to be back on a show again, which was my bad. I assumed that he knew that. He's like, bro, I work all the time. He's like, I'm not paying attention to your life. He's like, I just like you. I was telling someone recently that you're one of the only men in comedy. And to that, I was like, man, the irony is I'm acting like a woman, because I do all those jokes about how women assume intention in each other, and how women always are picking up on that which is not said. Where I have that bit where it's like, you go to your friend's house and his girl comes to the door and she's like, oh, hey, welcome. You didn't bring any wine? That's fine. Come on in. We're excited to have you. And as soon as the girl's out of earshot, your wife is like, she's such a cunt. And you're like, why? Nice. It's like, no, she just threw it in our face that we didn't bring the wine. She is really messing with us. And how men are typically a lot more forward. And so I was reading his intention, and I was thinking that his lack of support, or him not asking me back on to clear my name, was an attack. And really, it's just he's real. And it's not that I regret certain criticisms of him, like how he handled Roseanne, stuff like that. But I mean, I called the man's chickens gay. I called him a coward. Like, I was totally out of line for that. Now, making fun of people is cool, and part of that, I think part of the reason, like me and Dolev and Coddington Bear and Eric Nimmer, like we'll group chat for hours just talking shit that if you read, it would just be like hate speech. Like literally I'll be like, Nimmer, the worst thing that ever happened was letting you people out of chains. And he's like, when the race war comes, you're dead. I'm a Marine. You're an old man. And I'm like, Dolev, if you went to, England, everyone would think you're an Arab, except for the fact that you don't look that incestual, but you're going to go after the gold because you're an Israeli. And, and then we go after Coddington Bear, and then they come back after me. They're like, yeah, you're half retard, all this stuff. I'm like, Coddington Bear, you're part Native American, which means you'll have one drink and give away your house, you fucking dipshit. Like, literally, that's fun to us. Like, Nimmer calls me like, he's like, I'm going to die. He's like, you're going to die before me. Just know that. He's like, you're going to die before me, you old fuck. You old piece of shit. And we'll just be dying laughing. So like, sometimes I forget that, like my friend group is so brutal to each other that like, I shouldn't just, I don't know. I think it's funny though. But calling him a coward and a pussy was out of line. But Theo Von does look like the Rhinestone cowboy if he was retarded. It's like if Larry the Cable Guy met Boy George and was also an incest victim. That's Theo Von. So that was just that. I'm glad that I did that. I feel better, but I also feel totally embarrassed. My feelings don't really matter. I'm not going to pick at this thing. I'm not going to overanalyze it, but I called the man's chickens gay. Move on from Theo? Yeah, I'll move on when I feel like it. That's fine. Yeah, I'll totally move on. I don't give a fuck. I was being petty. I felt very attacked. And I was like, dude, you and fucking Pussy Theo Von, all you guys will tour clubs and shit. And I got to do shows in a fucking wood shop because of these fucking rumors. He's like, what did I do to you? And what did you ask me to do that I didn't do? And I'm like, well, I mean, the dossier. You know, I started sounding like a leftist. I started sounding like MSNBC about Trump. I'm like, well, there's a dossier, which the equivalent of that was me saying, I heard shit. Because I did. I heard shit that he was talking shit and all that. And he was like, not once ever. He's like, who the fuck would say that? He's like, I that never happened. And I'm like, but the dossier. So I'm an asshole. All right. You can think anything you want to Rogan, and I'm not saying that the man's a saint or he doesn't, you know, say shit that's crazy, but I just had to apologize. So this is what we're going to do now. I am now going to Skype. I'm going to Skype the great Artling Hartling down in my living room. Rogan knows how to manipulate people. Yeah, but so do comments. So do people like you. That's the funniest part. Is like, I'm not being manipulated. It'd be one thing if I was like, hey guys, Rogan is back to being my hero. Like at that point, I would sound insane. But backtracking and saying that I apologize for some of the vicious things I said about a guy that it turns out a lot of it was in my crazy paranoid brain. Yeah. If we can't do that, we're done. How good would it feel? Just picture this. How relieved would you be if you turn on CNN and there's Wolf Blitzer and he goes, today we'd like to say sorry. It turns out there's no Russia collusion. Moving on. Can you imagine? Can you imagine just being like, thank you? No, because one of the reasons that I'm revealing so much of this stuff is because it's a microcosm of the macrocosm that is plaguing our culture, which is this ego shit, which is the internet makes it so that like everything's so analyzed and scrutinized and in front of 30,000, 50,000 people. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my podcast, my stuff is growing exponentially. Like right now there's 1,200 people here, and I just said I was going live 5 minutes ago, and I don't have Facebook or Twitter. Like, that makes people a little crazy. And that's like the world now, even just Instagram. Just feeling like someone's talking trash about you in front of 50 people makes you extra defensive. And then you see these comments. And I I take pride that I read all the comments and I try to respond to all you guys. But I don't know if my brain can literally handle it. Like having like over the course of months, just people being like, man, you looked like a bitch on Rogan. You didn't say shit either. Man, I heard Rogan was saying you're a Nazi. Like, I'll be like, no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And then eventually just be like, his chickens are fucking gay. So the breadcrumbs led me out of my own insanity. And don't think I wanted to do that. Don't think that I enjoy saying I'm wrong. I fucking hate it. I hate being wrong. It sucks. Especially when it's so public and I have so many vicious people that talk so much shit about me. The last thing because a lot of people were giving me a lot of love and props for calling out Rogan because so many people have a lot of resentment towards him. That like saying that I was wrong is not fun. All right, let's start talking about Artling Harling. He's awesome. And the tour's coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be a blast. Hugepianist.com. All right, which picture is this? Oh, this is a picture of one of the sketches we shot today. Shylock Holmes. The Jews, Watson. The Jews. So look forward to that. The backstory is Shylock, my brother suggested Shylock Goyams. But that, I don't know, it doesn't quite rhyme. Shylock Holmes. His story is he's the world's greatest detective. He's like, I can tell by the quiver on your left hand that you were pushed in a well by an uncle named Barry. It's like, how did you know that? It's like, I see everything except for what the Jews are doing. That's why it's funny, because it's not like the character's kind of flushed out. The character's like makes sense. He's a dude who sees everything coming, but he got scammed by Bernie Madoff. And so now he always assumes everything's the Jews because he realizes he can't predict the Jews. So he becomes a pretty bad detective because every single mystery in his mind is the Jews. Then the new leftist fitness instructor, we used a green screen so that we can actually put it in a gym. And we're about to shoot the Sam Harris family, but I don't think we have time. We're a Sam Harris family, damn it. We don't pray to God. We pray to our chemical reactions. Life is determined. It's like, catch the ball, buddy. Oh, you dropped the ball. It's not your fault. It's not you. There's no free will. That was a chemical reaction. But I'm going to write it better so that when we shoot it, it just pops. Yeah.
No, Anthony. He's a big boy. He said it. I'm funny how? How am I funny? You mean the way I speak? Yeah, less offensive to Italians and not making the movie set. We should find Mr. Robinson's neighbor. Like, wait a minute. There's my motherfucking landlord. What you want? Go away. The rent ain't come. He's late with the rent. He's too lazy to go get a job. Come on, guys. That's what funny is. That's funny. I don't want an Irish guy who don't drink. I don't want an Italian guy who ain't in the mob. And I don't want a black guy who pays the rent on time. I want funny. So, Dan, you're making a good point. But slowly, we're going to die off. You understand? We're going to die off, just like Nixon did. We didn't have Dick Nixon to kick around anymore. And society got better. But now you got the self-righteous people like Bill Maher. Bill Maher, a very smart guy, obviously, but just king of the assholes. If assholes had a fucking kingdom, he would be crown jewel, my friend. With a new rule every fucking day. What a prick. And he is so non-self-aware that every week he invites on someone who beats him in a debate. He invites on these right-wing people who beat him. They just let him squawk like a maniac, and then they go, well, no, I disagree. And then he's like, but what? But look, he said this and meant this. Well, yeah, well, so did Hillary. We're out of time. I try every week.
And then he goes to the next card.
Yeah,
he's got those cards.
He's got those cards. Yeah. He's got a team of 80 guys doing a combined 74,000 hours of research on Roger Stone. Roger Stone comes in and with one wink of the eye, he beats him. And the audience is a combination of Bill Maher's cousins and writers. Oh, if they clap one more time. Oh, if they drop the mic one more time. And then the third guest in the interviews will always be like some migrant worker who cut himself by accident. And his wrist got infected, and it's Donald Trump Jr.'s fault. Hey, Mar, pointing out that Donald Trump Jr. is a fucking pompous ass, not exactly a hard fucking premise. Come on, man. I try every week. Can't do it. You better invite a Republican chimpanzee on. His other big thing is he calls Dr. Ben Carson stupid. That's his big. The guy's a brain surgeon. Maybe not the best politician. Could open his eyes every once in a while. But the guy is well, look, and separating two heads. Again, I'll give Bill Maher this. That's a bit overrated. I think anybody that I worked construction with a hacksaw and a slide rule can pull out.
Oh God, Jesus!
And how is the family's life better? They now essentially have one child attached at the head. They got to get all this insurance money together and donations, and Dr. Carson just separates the head. Now he gives them two babies. Now you need two TVs. Now you got to pay for two tuitions. Everything in your life, double the pay. I get accolades, a lot of pussy, and run for president. I have enough money to where I can sandblast the Bible into the fucking foundation of my house. Maybe I agree with Mar on that one. But, I get to be a brain surgeon. You got to go through medical school. That's tough. So you got all these people yelling out all this shit, and they're hateful people, and they win the election. They win the election for Republicans because everybody hates them. They hate them enough to where they get up and vote. I've never considered voting. I did once, and Clay Aikens didn't win. Again, I took Earthquake, one of the funniest. If not the funniest comics, I might say funniest comics. Longevity is the only thing in his way as far as stuff I've seen. But he has a half-an-hour special. I point to it every time. It was done in 2004, and it's one of the funniest fucking guys. I laugh my ass off. He's talking about voting out Bush in 2004. I was sitting on my bed on Tuesday afternoon eating. I seen Puff Daddy on the TV say you gotta get out and vote. I'm like, this shit must be serious. This shit must be serious. I got up and waited online for 4 hours. This nigga lost about 3 million votes. I said, fuck you, Puff Daddy. You don't know shit about voting. Stick to remix them. Stick to remix them. Now these white people got my real name. John Kerry's married to Teresa Hines. Why the fuck would he want to work anyway? Married to Teresa Hines. I was married to Teresa Hines. Say, Earthquake, you want to be president? I'm like, shit. My bitch own ketchup. Every time a nigga over french fries, cold train. Funny because it's true. His bitch owns ketchup. His bitch owns ketchup. Let's break that down. And he say, what do you say? What do you mean, bitch? I'm talking about, who you talking about? Who's the bitch in the Teresa Hines? Oh, Teresa Hines. One of the most accomplished women who gives away all of her money, one of the greatest entrepreneurs. Okay, fine. She's the bitch in this? Yeah, she's bitch in this. I refer to her as a bitch. in this. Why? I don't know, because it's a comedy bit. Because I'm not a politician. It's not real. I'm saying, bitch, I want to evoke laughter from the audience. I want to get the people paying $15 for Rolling Rock to laugh. So instead of saying the accomplished woman, I say bitch in what's known as a stereotypical black accent. my bitch own, and think about it, it becomes a black accent with the omission of one letter, the letter S. If you say my bitch owns ketchup, you sound white. Okay, you sound, I don't know, educated. If you say my bitch owned ketchup, it's immediately a black accent. That's fascinating. One letter. One letter. One letter makes Earthquake black. And one letter makes Bill Cosby a rapist and not a racist. He's so fucking funny in that. But again, he's doing, you know, they didn't air it, but I went to the Best Damn Sports Show in about, I'm going to say 2002, sent me to the NBA draft. And a guy who's actually a great guy, a guy I met doing Opie's show, again, Jay Williams, the kid who got in the car accident, motorcycle accident, from Duke. Great college player. Who knows if he would have translated into the pros, but he got to the pros. He was playing pro ball. Probably went on to maybe Italy or something. So much money in Europe for basketball players. I didn't realize it. Still make millions, but he was on that level, and he's doing well now. He's kicking ass. He's a great broadcaster. He's got a great sense of humor, by the way. We were goofing on anything at Opie's show. And I'll hand it to Opie, and of course Anthony, where he's at, they still hold that banner. You can say whatever you want. I know, because Gilbert and I did. Pretty much. Got Opie to chime in. Bobby Kelly did the smart thing. He was like, "What are you guys crazy?" when me and Gilbert are around, when me and Gilbert are around a third comedian, this is how I put it. The third comedian always takes on the Henry Hill part in Goodfellas. Like the movie Goodfellas is told through Henry Hill's eyes. So if you notice, he's never involved in the murder. He's always like, "What are you guys doing? This is crazy. Murder's illegal." I'll get a blanket because I'm afraid of for my life. And I'll reluctantly help you move the body, but you know, I just don't want any more bloodshed. They whacked him. You're kidding. How could this happen? How could this happen? I'm just afraid for my family's life. Otherwise, I would go to the authorities. Guys, Tommy, Jimmy, what are you doing? You're getting blood on my floor. This is a establishment that's legal. I have to pay my taxes now. You guys are making me late to pay my taxes. Guys, put your seatbelts on, please. So, you know what? You're forcibly driving me to bury a body that I think is still alive. Being cut up in the trunk. Can you put your seatbelts on? Tommy! Put your seatbelt on. Guys, no. The speed limit's 45. I'm doing 43 right now. I don't care if we're late to bury the body. The woods will wait. I'm not speeding. Up, a taillight's out. I'm pulling over. I'm pulling over and I'm putting the flares 15 feet away from the car. Okay? I don't care about the body. This is called playing by the rules. Henry Hill never breaks them because it's told by Henry Hill. He's like a Monsignor in it. Okay, when me and Gilbert do a show, there's always a third comic. He becomes the Henry Hill. Gilbert and I go, I mean, guys, what are you doing? The N-word? That's terrible. Well, you won't catch me doing that. Man, you sound like my racist aunt. Amazing. You know, so it's different. It's a different world. You couldn't do Mr. Robbins' Neighborhood. And all those guys we grew up on, like I said, the Kinnison, the Eddie Murphys, like we have to somehow, and that's the comedy we started doing. On my first DVD, it's the Whiskey Talk, and I tell a story that's based on a true story. The basketball story is based on a true story. I was in a street game that happened all the time at Beer Temple Park in Union, New Jersey. 9 black kids in a full court, and I was on the other team. I was 4. My buddy Scott reluctantly said, come on, Arnie. But he knew I had a 3-pointer. He knew that for 5 minutes a game I became unconscious from the outside. Absolutely unconscious. I offered nothing else. I offered no defense. I was, quite frankly, slow getting up the court. I had corduroys and jeans on some of the time. and an Elvis Costello shirt. One of the black kids thought that Abbott's first name was Elvis. And I said, I'll explain later. You can explain LL Cool J's album to me. So, no, all good kids, but they were calling each other the N-word. Throw the ball, nigga. I'm open, nigga. Shit, nigga. I'm open, nigga. Pick and roll, nigga. Pick and roll, nigga. Top of the paint, nigga. Shoot your jam, nigga. Rebound, nigga. Rebound, nigga. Kick it out, nigga. Kick it out, nigga. Kick it out, nigga. And I wasn't getting the ball. And I was open. Okay, that's where the fiction begins. That's where the real story ends. I imagine in the bit, the comedic bit, what would happen? What would happen? I'm admitting it would be wrong and stupid. What would happen if I, being open and frustrated, put my hands up, waved, and said, I'm open, nigger. And what Dan just did, almost every audience did. Black, white, brown, gray. Back then, people listened to context. They knew the context. I wasn't getting the ball. And what if I tried this? And then I say it again, nigger. It was one of those great stand-up bits. I can't tell you how amazing it was. If the crowd was right for it, and they laughed so hard. Sometimes they could go for like 2 minutes. And then I would just, once again, just go, nigger. Another 2 minutes of laughter. Oh, I had time to drink my Jack Daniels. It was my greatest time. It was my summer of 42. You understand? Around 2000, my stand-up from 2001 to 2006. Those 5 years. When I was 21. It was when I was 21 in that song. It was a very good year. They let down their hair. Damn, the chicks let down their hair. We all know what that means. Sinatra boffed some broad in the back of a Lincoln. So, nowadays, here's as far as I get with that bit before I'm asked to leave the premises. A lot of funny bones are in a mall, a shopping mall, okay? Here's how far I get before I was asked to leave the mall. The entire mall, the structure. If I did this on a cruise, they wouldn't wait for Bermuda. Here's a life jacket, some smelling salts, and a map. Take care, racist. This is what we do to racist homophobes on the SS Uptight.
Cast away, baby.
Exactly. Hopefully you'll find Wilson. I hope he's not a basketball. I hope he's a hockey puck. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Are you okay? Dan just threw up a fucking nostril. That's the kind of laughter I got. People order new chicken wings. No, I got that kind of guffaw. I remember Black Kid at the Columbus, Ohio Funny Bone. Black Kid in right to the right of me in the front row. As Keith Richards said one night about Chuck Berry, with a piece of white tail. With a Los Angeles Dodger hat on, LA Dodgers hat on. I overlooked it. The kid loved it. The kid high-fived me on stage. I'm open, nigger. Huge laugh. Wait for the laugh. Nigger. Oh. And then one night, I remember where I was. One night, I was on stage at, it used to be an improv. It's not there anymore, but in San Diego, northern San Diego. And I thought, oh my God, how can I stretch this out longer? Because I loved it. And I thought of that Bugs Bunny episode where the professor is on ether. Like he accidentally gets in the ether and he's talking in slow motion, like, come back.
Yes.
Here, you rabbit. And I said, what happens when you do something that's awkward? You imagine it happening slower. You imagine like it takes forever to milk out and embarrass you more. And I said, what if I say to the audience, it was so embarrassing that I felt like I was saying it in slow motion, like that Bugs Bunny episode again. It felt like I was saying, I'm open. Nay. And then, not only, and I told Robert Smigel this, not Smigel, Schimmel. Either's fine. I told Robert Schimmel at the 2004 Aspen Comedy Festival, before I did the set that got me thrown off off Aspen, I said, how much you want to bet, Schimmel? This is just as political correctness was taking over. How much you want to bet I say the N-word 80 times? And then in slow motion. He goes, what are you talking about? Then I did it, and Schimmel would have high-fived me if he had the strength to raise his arm. Sadly, he didn't, because he was giving his wife money. Literally handing his wives money towards rotator cuff. Had Dear John surgery. Tore his rotator cuff, giving his wife out money. Had to have Dear John surgery. Not as good as Johnny John. So yeah. But then the greatest thing ever, it's the greatest ending for me. And again, I'm not saying this is a great comedy bit compared to others, but for me, it's my greatest. Because after I say it in slow motion, people are laughing so hard they can't believe that I'm doing it. Because it's also the shock value. But then what happens? Pause, and then I say it in slow motion again. And I stop, and I go, and for the rest of that story, you might want to contact my Blue Cross Blue Shield agent. Another huge laugh, into applause, and I have time to chug a carafe of Jack Daniels.
Oh, my God.
Light a Marlboro Red and go on to the next bit. That's what comedy used to be. Used to be adults gathering. We were all adults gathering. No kids. Bye. Fuck you. Bye. No uptight teenager doing their thesis on fucking the wronging of the American people and the Native American and the people of color and the Irish American, Italian American. Fuck you. It was a bunch of fucking men and women who were adults in their late 20s, early 30s, early 40s, the prime of life, having cigarettes. I used to have a joke. I said, I started out with this joke. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I read in the magazine, every cigarette takes 7 minutes of your life. Before the show tonight, I did some math, and I'll be dead at 7:30. Boom! I joked about adult things. That's what you wanted. You wanted to live vicariously through that guy on stage. Can't do it anymore. So the Kinnisons and everybody, we were taught they were wrong. We were taught we were wrong for liking them. And then you go through that era of, okay, you can't do this comedy anymore, and that spawns a generation of the Aziz Ansari's and the Dane Cooks, and and again, Dane catches a lot of shit. I don't want to give him shit because everyone gives him shit. Dane is a talented guy. Like I said, I tried to follow him once. There was a club on the Sunset Strip back in the late 90s called Dublin's. It was a sports bar. Above it was a comedy club that on Tuesday nights, Dane Cook would perform there. And a bunch of people would go up and Dane would close usually. And he owned it. He owned it. It was all like younger girls who loved all that stupid shit he did. And it was all his friends on MySpace. MySpace was big. And look, Dane figured out MySpace before any of us. God bless him. You should also Googled money managers. He figured out how to get all these friends on MySpace except the most important friend. Yeah. He let one of his friends do his taxes. Oh, God, Dane, I feel for you, buddy. I've met Dane Cook a few times, and he's always been very friendly to me. And, he's a comedian making money. Get their money, buddy. He's a movie star for a while. And he was never bad in a movie. I just saw Mr. Brooks, great movie with Kevin Costner, and Dane Cook plays a guy in that. It was great. Great in it. Yeah, he did fun. Like that movie he did, the movie he did with Employee of the Month. When what's-her-face, before she looked like Chris Farley in those Gap sketches. Jessica Simpson. That real funny guy who's married to fuck, I can't remember the names, but he's a funny guy. Zach, I don't know, he's one of those skateboard guys. I don't know, blonde guy. Funny as hell in this movie though, and with like an Asian assistant or a Mexican assistant was funny. Andy Dick is hilarious in the movie. Employee of the Month. Anyway, Dane is a talented guy. He's not untalented. A bunch of bitter comedians were pissed off that he figured out MySpace first. But he gets all these friends on MySpace. Oh, God, somebody steals your money. And, stand up. I don't care if you like it or not. Dane Cook worked his fucking ass off. I followed him. I said, you know what? I'm going to follow him. Fuck it. I'm from New York, baby. I could follow anything. Now, Dane Cook was there. He was so popular, and his star was starting to rise that NSYNC was there. I'm not kidding. NSYNC before JT left. And Joey Fatone was just not fat one yet. Just Fatone. And they're all in a corner booth. There's press there because they're watching their favorite comedian, Dane Cook. So I'm like, wow. And I'm so pompous at this point as a stand-up. I'll be fine. I'm going to kill for fucking NSYNC. Okay, Dane Cook destroys for like an hour. And I'm thinking about my bits about the VCR. And then he ends with this. He ends by, he does a perfect impression of a Tyrannosaurus Rex on acid. Caw, 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 caw. Like Jim Carrey style. Caw, caw, like his neck is pulled. He then takes his shirt off. The girls are screaming like the Beatles in the Help video. Cool, 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 cool. And NSYNC are slapping each other, high five. NSYNC is laughing so hard they're out of sync. NSYNC, Justin Timberlake tried to sync up with Lance Bass and high five him, and they missed. That's how hard they were laughing. NSYNC was out of sync. That's what Dane Cook should have said in his ads. You'll laugh so hard if you're in NSYNC, you'll be out of sync. That fat guy, Lou Pearlman, could not even get them to blow him.
Okay.
Come on, guys. Come on, your mouth's already open. You're laughing. That's half the battle. Here comes the airplane. Here comes the airplane made out of cockskin. It wants to park. Lance is the only one who seems to enjoy this. Could you imagine if I don't know, but if Justin Timberlake was forced to blow Lou Pearlman and he really likes Jessica Biel, that's torture. Sad news that Lou Pearlman passed away, right?
Yes.
Under mysterious circumstances in jail. It said mysterious. No one was quite sure how the pipe got in his ass, right?
Oh, God.
There was a pipe that was in his ass and coming out his mouth. Well, the guards just know that something fell and they picked it up and they looked and Lou was gone. You know what? He's gone. And there's nothing we can do about it. They whacked him. His gay lover. They whacked Lou and there's nothing we can do about it. It's real inmate fucking greaser bullshit. Where is Lou? They whacked him. They whacked him. Not that kind of whack. Get over yourself. He's gone. I'm going to push over this telephone booth. Even though it's 2017. We found the last telephone booth to push over. I'm going to push this over. Yeah. So he does he does the dinosaur. Now he's doing the shirtless Tyrannosaurus Rex with NSYNC high-fiving, Lou Pearlman, walking around with his pants off. Everyone laughing in the audience, screaming, and I'm still going, I got that. I'm all right. I can do this. Now he pours beer all over himself. Hey, caw. I guess the T-Rex does caw. I don't know. And now he's got beer all over him. He pours a $17 Coors Light all over him. Caw, guys, beer getting on the audience. He's spitting, does convulsions like that weird face, an Ace Ventura face. And then he stops and says, "Thank you, good night." Then he bows. Bows like Leonard Bernstein at the end of fucking Beethoven's Eighth. And bends way over like Leonard Bernstein. Way over. He's bending way over like Leonard Bernstein. And then before the MC gets up, he stops and he goes, he picks up the mic. The MC, says, goes back as God is still talking. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest tonight." And I'm thinking, oh, that's nice of him. NSYNC. I wasn't the special guest.
Oh.
The special guest was NSYNC. Place goes nuts. Place goes bananas. Bananas. The place went nuts as if you were on the you're taking a tour today in 2017 of Graceland, and Elvis showed up in the living room. In that same jumpsuit with a fried peanut butter sandwich. That's how much they. So now, while that's going on, the MC wants to go over and join and sing. Then notices me. Rolls his eyes. And like, do you still want to do this? Looks at me, you still want to do this? I'm like, yeah, fuck it. You know me, I get anger and I'm self-destructive. I go, yeah, I want to do it. Guy goes, all right, last performer, Artie Lang. He didn't give my credits, which included Mad TV regular, Norm Show regular in its second season, Dirty Work, Lost and Found, The Bachelor, Mystery Men, The Fourth Floor, regular on Conan, creator of Live on Tape, several commercials. I think you can figure out the rest.
You baby gorilla.
That's my white mama.
You baby gorilla.
That's my white mama.
So anyway, I went up and I said, what's up? What's up, Dublins? How are you? You guys having fun on a Tuesday? Boo. Anyway, so, you know, but look, again, Dan brings up a good point. Because this generation that grew up on all the stuff I'm talking about and is still doing stand-up is now clashing with not only the generation that grew up on the softer stuff, but they're also hiring people. Like, you know, the show I'm on, Crashing, right now, Judd Apatow and Pete Holmes and a bunch of executives at HBO are my bosses. Pete Holmes is my boss on this show. He's a great guy, doesn't feel like it, but he is my boss, technically. So is Judd. Judd is my exact age. Think about that. Judd and I are a couple months apart. God, that was depressing. While he was winning his 18th Emmy, I was being arraigned. Well, when someone called his name, think about it. The person who called his name, because he won the Emmy the year before for Best Writing, was Mike Judge. My name was being called by an actual judge. and the Emmy goes to Judd Apatow. And the next defendant to be sentenced, Artie Lang. His person was Mike Judge. Mine, I believe, was Judge Saperstein. Not thrilled with me. And Pete Holmes is my boss, and he's 11 years younger than me. And all the HBO executives, I don't think any of them. Well, actually, one I think was born on the day I got my first DUI. The rest were born way after. So, you know, I don't know. But I think once we all die off, and for me it'll be sooner than later, you know, the world will have gone through this filter, and, you know, words like the N-word and faggot, they'll be gone. And that's a good thing. But comedy will be more uptight. And it'll keep getting more uptight until, I don't know, there's some sort of break. But I don't know if that's going to happen for a long time, because everybody's going to say something. Because now even the liberals are saying shit that the liberals hate. Like they're offending themselves. They're offending themselves. Howard is desperately trying to be like one of these people. It's so pathetic and awful because Howard's a genius, and he's trying to be like non-genius. Howard's a genius trying to be like idiots. What is he doing? What, you're an artist, Howard. You got $1 billion. Why are you trying to sound like Mike Bergeron? What the fuck is he doing? Howard, you've done 5 hours of fucking entertainment. I helped for about a decade, but yeah. You know, because some people thought it was all right. I mean, whatever. You pretend they don't exist. Some people liked what I did. Whatever, that's fine. That's fine. That's not too awkward. It's not too weird. You're an artist who's an original, and some fucking redhead twat con artist is trying to make you an unoriginal. What the fuck is going on? You have to be like, a lot of artists are degenerates, like Basquiat. A lot of them are. Not Ellen DeGeneres, degenerates. I can't believe it. Some fan put together a compilation of Howard bashing Ellen and then going into kissing her ass. It's, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. There's tape another fan sent me recently of Howard calling Jennifer. Now, he was at Jennifer Aniston's wedding, okay? He was at her wedding. Says she's like one of his best friends. Said at his wedding he developed a man crush on Orlando Bloom. I'll repeat that. Developed a man crush on Orlando Bloom. Ugh. That, if I was still on the show and he said that, I think my head would have exploded. I don't know how Fred deals with it. I hope Fred can still play the chickens when somehow To me, that's genius. Every time an Hispanic actor or actress spoke, Fred played chickens. Balk, balk. It was mine and David Spade's favorite part of the show. Spade would be in L.A. and he would text me, Fred's playing the chickens, huh? But Salma Hayek was the funniest because she was particularly pretentious. When she played Frida, the chick with the one eyebrow, she almost got an Oscar for letting someone give one eyebrow to her. And I played the Frida. I did balk, 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 balk. Is that too offensive? No, so Howard's trying to be this, and I read the other day he got in trouble for body judging Russell Crowe. I hope that's true. Because guess what, Howard? You can't win. They're going to get you. You're going to get yourselves eventually. Eventually, the censors will start censoring themselves and blah, blah, blah. It'll go back to this, that, the other thing. And eventually, a comedian will be allowed to say one word in their act. Everyone will have the same act because that's what you're going for. You're taking originality completely out of it. Everyone will have the same act. It'll all sound the same. And it'll all be one word that we're allowed to say. And that word will be rainbow. Ladies and gentlemen, Artie Lang. Rainbow. Good night. Good night. I guess that's all I have to say. I'll say if you're a young comedian coming up, here's my advice to you. Never follow Dane Cook Tuesday Night Dublin's. I think, though, Dublin's is gone, much like Dane Cook. And NSYNC. And Joey Fatone. And Lance Bass. How many times has Justin Timberlake changed his number? So those kids can't get in touch with him. Trying to passive-aggressively plant hints in his mind for a comeback tour. HAT, buddy, what's it like? I just saw you on the set of that Alpha Dog movie. You're kicking some ass, man. You're acting, you're hosting, unbelievable. Yeah, I just thinking, remember that time me and you together, we changed the moves to Baby Bye, Bye, Bye. And that could be Backstreet Boys. And they did it. I think they're all going on tour. And I can't wait to not go. One Direction, well, maybe they'll take a hit. Those other fucking guys in goddamn. Well, see, now One Direction's. Well, everybody in that band is saying, how do we pull a Justin Timberlake? How do we fucking take the chains off these losers? There's a kid in One Direction looks exactly like Mick Jagger. That Harry Styles kid looks exactly like Mick Jagger. And they did a special on him. That's right, I saw it. And it was on VH1. And they went back to their hometowns. I love how they pretend like it's been a millennium since they... Yeah, I used to work here. They all remember me. It was 4 months ago. They all remember you. Some of them are younger than you. You remember back when do you remember me? Harry, yeah. I just saw you at Thanksgiving. Remember me, Mrs. Jackson? What are you talking? I'm your prom date. Oh, wow. Listen, I know you're probably thinking what it's been like since I left. No, we just talked. Well, yeah. I don't bake bread anymore. Yeah, okay. I just took a 2-week vacation. You've only been gone a week more than me. All right, well, let me say, baby, bye, bye, bye. You better keep those hits coming or it's going to be baby, hi, hi, hi again. Babe, I'm back, back, back. Yeah. You're back to making a lot of dough the other way. Harry Styles. Yeah, he goes back to that cute kid. Listen, I was going to agree. I'm very secure in my sexuality. I'd fuck every one of those kids. If I was in prison, I'd fuck every one of those. With like, fucking Heather Locklear wig. They look like, from behind, they look like Susan Summers sunbathing in that first opening sequence of Three's Company. Come on, knock on my door. Make it the back door. I've been waiting for you. All the old chicks working at the bakery want to fuck Harry Styles. Sitting there. Are you back? Are you back? Come here. Let me hug you. Where's Lou Pearlman? All right. Thanks, Dan Falato. This is another ridiculous, make no sense podcast in the books. Let me end by saying this. Rainbow.
The Artie Lang Uncensored Podcast.
Take care. Why not brush your hair?
The Sam Harris family is hysterical. Let me read a couple of these super chats before we start with Artling Hartling. You did the right thing, rational and reasonable. Yeah, because if not, we're just leftists that, don't wear masks. And I'm not doing one of those always bend because bending the knee when you have to bend the knee is not bad. It's actually insanely cowardly if you just don't. If I didn't pick up the phone when Rogan called me, or if I didn't listen to what he was saying, or if I didn't question my own logic when I couldn't actually name the vicious thing that he apparently did to me. It was just a series of bullshit, and a lot of it stemmed from my own embarrassment. And yeah, it's then we're no better than that, which I make fun of every day. So that would just lead to a personal hell that a few weeks of people calling me a pussy I can handle. Letting go of my rational, reasonable abilities, I'd be done. But I'm going to try to not talk about my family as much either. I lately I've been a little too open, I think. I forget that a lot of people aren't used to public scrutiny and people hearing stuff, and I'm just trying to get through this world like anybody else, and with the internet and with media shifting and family shifting and with culture shifting and all this stuff, I'm just trying to do the best I can, and hopefully I'm a good role model. But showing that you're wrong, I think, is a good thing sometimes. I mean, don't just say you're wrong when there's conflict. I mean, there was a point on the phone with Rogan where he was like, I feel like you betrayed me. And I go, bro, I feel like you fucking betrayed me. Don't think for a second that, I don't think that too. But then by the end, I fully apologized and realized I was being a lesbian. I just got a little fucking crazy. And so if I don't make some lifestyle changes the next time, I won't expect people to forgive me. So what I'm doing is I stopped the YouTube comments going to my email, and I'm only, so if you're watching one of my videos and you're reading the comments and you see a comment that either is a valid criticism, a good idea, or something interesting that I should look up, hit the like on that person's comment so they go up. Because I'll read the top 5 or 10 comments in the future, but I'm not going to read 1,000 people that might have schizophrenia telling me that I should kill myself. I literally can't physically handle it. And so I have to make a change, or else the next time I apologize for being a maniac, I won't expect you people to understand. All right, Houdini by Foster the People. Love the piano chords. I can check that out for you, bud. Brian, thanks, Brian. What's your PO address? A pair of knee pads coming. Hysterical. I mean, I've gotten shellings. What are those things called? The Jew money again? Shekels. I've been mailed shekels from Israel as a joke. So I deserve the knee pads. It's P.O. Box 727, Gig Harbor, Washington. Yeah, and I do not expect to go back on a show. I will get nothing from this, guys. I'm not doing this to get accepted by any group. I still think that crew sucks. I just think him calling me and the fact that I truly believe he wasn't out to get me now, I feel like a fucking idiot for lumping him together with that whole crew. And my crazy medieval type brain, when I hear shit coming from Bert Kreischer and Sam Tripoli and Theo Von and Whitney Cummings, in my mind I'm like, the king should handle his serfs, because I see them as all underlings to Rogan, because I don't know. I haven't even thought about this in my mind, but I started laughing when I realized that I thought that he was responsible for his feudal, his own kingdom. I'm like, they're your guys. Tell them you'll take their land. They're serfs, which is insane. All right. Glad you apologized. You're a big man. Oh, thanks, James. Hey, Big Bear, I self-published a novel on Amazon. It was so easy to do. Available at ebook and paperback. Titan Thomas by Travis. Loved it on Amazon. Yeah, I'm a little gun-shy about revealing a lot of stuff in my life, so I am going to do the book, but I just need some time here. A better man admits when he's wrong. Thank you. I first saw you on Rogan. Glad you're boys again. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, as much as I'll like completely disagree with some of his shit, and I don't rely on him, and I know that he's off always doing his own shit. He is consistent, and he isn't a betrayer. He will. This is another thing. Like some of the other criticisms that I had on him, I realized that regardless of what I believe, like I like Stefan Molyneux, like he was saying that shit about Stefan Molyneux. He's like, bro, don't think I won't say that publicly. He's like, this is my opinion on him, and I'm like, you know what? I might be wrong, but I'm not lying. You might be wrong, but you're not lying. The biggest thing I look in a person is that they're not lying to me. And fucking have your opinion. I'm not going to not be someone's friend or call someone names that they don't deserve because they disagree with me on what they see in a person. That's insanity. That was me literally becoming that which I hate. And I'm very grateful that I somehow snap my way out of that, because I can totally see that path of just becoming Gary Darkness, where I'm just like, anyone that isn't with us is against us and they're all cowards. It's like, oh God, if you don't stand for something bigger than yourself, you're just so vulnerable to just any onslaught of nonsense. All right, from the world of psychology, I have to tell you that celebrity is more addictive than Coke. I don't like Coke, so I don't think I'm really. I get recognized sometimes in public, and it makes me kind of uncomfortable. So I know I'm not susceptible to being addicted to celebrity, because I like where we're at with the live stream. I think it's starting to get big to the point where, like, the fact I can't trust the people commenting anymore. Because, like, for the last 3 years, it's like, oh, Shaniqua O'Toole, oh, Bayonet Bob, oh, Liberty Bear. Like, I fucking I know the people that are listening, and now it's like thousands of people that are like, you should kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. You're a coward, kill yourself. And it's like, man, this is getting pretty big. All right. What if someone wanted to be a soy bear? Would they be hated? Not asking for myself, of course. No, you can be a soy bear. I mean, you'll never be a respected bear, but, and you won't have a penis, but you can be what you want. Rogan is a chameleon, so he can get people's opinions and views expressed. It's his job. I think you did the right thing, Big Bear. Yeah, I'm not even going to comment on his shit anymore. I'm just done with that whole thing where I'm not going to armchair analyze it, because I frankly don't trust my opinion on it, because I think I was like so resentful from the last time I was on that I started just hating every fucking thing he said by the end. And that's totally my bad. Like, I should have spoken up. I was way too positive. Like, right off the bat, I'm starting to see that in myself. I'm not anyone's defense attorney anymore. Like, I'm going to be more. I can get myself out of depressions and out of bad spots by just willing it out. Like, being like, that's all right, man. It was my kid's birthday, and Cokehead Kurt was there, and, so it kind of opened the floodgates to all these people saying, did you run this by Rogan? And then when my fucking Twitter got deleted, and he didn't say anything, but it's great, dude. It's great. That's not true, but neither is him being a coward. So I think I'm just going to try and be a little more honest about my emotions. I was fucking pissed after that. And I thought that experience sucked, but I'm not going to assume his intention. Did he set me up to fail? Or was it an accident? I don't know. I'm not him. And I'm not going to assume intention, because that's pretty much ruining a culture that I am a part of that I love very dearly, is assuming intention. So I'm out of that. Any chance you would be willing to do an interview on my pod someday? Of course, Pink Trip. I love your work, my friend. Hey, Owen, have you listened to JP's biblical lectures? Yes, I have. It's awesome. Ethan, you should go on Molyneux and talk about admitting you were wrong. He does it all the time. Could be helpful. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I love going on his show. Compressed due to super chat limits. Evidence points to Bible being man-made. God being man-made. Why attribute valuable moral mindset to the creation of man, not the men behind it? Follow the path of the writers, not the written product. No. Was it physically written by a man? Of course. It's just like written. But I honestly want to get to Artling Hartling, and I appreciate that super chat. That was awesome. But I can't go down a wicked intense religious debate right now. And I'm going to be honest about that. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm going to. I'm going to get to Artling Hartling. San Francisco slippers for you. Thank you, brother. I think you definitely did the right thing. Was shocked to see all the nasty comments in your apology video. Oh, I'm not even going to read them. I'm not going to let those things in my head. I don't watch beheadings and shit. I only watched a little bit of Michelle Wolf's Netflix comedy show because Nimmer like made me, and I regret doing it. It made me like hate Hollywood and comedians out of Hollywood even more. And like, it's why I don't watch beheading videos. I'm not going to let that evil into me. So I'm not going to read that shit. Stay strong. Keep fighting the good fight. Hope you and your family's doing well. Thank you, brother. Should we love Rogan again? Help, my warlord. It's up to you, my friend. It's up to you. I'm out of this. I'm out of that one. He said some stuff that really bothered me, obviously. But I went so overboard that I'm just not even going to engage in that shit right now at all. I have a lot of respect for the fact he called me and kind of helped me snap out of my own form of Rogan derangement syndrome. Denial, guilt, enlightenment, responsibility, beaten wife bear, hilarious. I know I'm going to get all that shit. I'm going to get so many comments that battered wife syndrome and all that, but I can't go with that like something I know is wrong. So fuck it. Say whatever you want. I don't care. Can you play Stay Together for the kids? Sorry, no music right now. Owen is an Irish Wolfhound and Joe is a pit bull. Look up the personality traits at hillspet.com. I like Irish.
Don't know why there have been recent protests in Chemnitz, Germany. I made a video with Martin Sellner covering the entire situation, what spurred all these protests in the first place. But just as a very quick refresher, a couple of migrants stabbed to death a German man and seriously injured 2 others last Sunday. Now, immediately following this, there were large protests. They started on Sunday just with about 100 people. It grew from there until there were several hundred. And then on Monday, it was even larger. It spilled all the way into Monday. There were thousands of people on Monday. According to a BBC article that I found, Pegida, a patriotic movement in Germany, was responsible for organizing that demonstration. The demonstration that I attended yesterday was co-organized by the largest right-wing party in Germany, the AfD, and the patriotic movement Pegida. So this march was advertised as a silent march. So you went there were no slogans, there were no banners, there were only German flags that you were allowed to carry. Everybody was encouraged to just wear black, displaying no political symbols. I saw a few political symbols there, but for the most part, people did obey this request. Also, the majority of people carried white roses. According to 3 different Germans that I asked, they said that these white roses were a symbol of grief. Something that I found particularly remarkable about the protest was that up at the very front you had several people marching with giant memorial photographs of migrant victims that have been murdered over the past several years. And I tried to get as good a footage as I possibly could of this, but of course you weren't really allowed to march in the area where they were, so I had to kind of dodge in and out really quick, and hopefully it is sufficient. I arrived about an hour before the actual protest began, and I stayed until it ended. And during the entire time, I marched all the way from the back all the way up to the front and back again before I left. I saw absolutely no violence, nobody provoking anyone. They were completely peaceful. And I know this goes against 100% the mainstream media narrative that is being painted about it. Something else is, pretty much everybody looked completely normal, just like normal German citizens that weren't even particularly political, but just came out because they see that there's a problem in their country and they want to stand up to it and they want something done about it. So you had men, women, elderly people, and even children there. So this is just for when the protest actually occurred. I left right after because as soon as it ends, of course, it's kind of chaos when everybody goes back to their cars, and this is when Antifa and protesters usually meet, so there could have been a few scuffles here and there. I don't know. I didn't personally witness any myself. Again, everything that I witnessed was 100% peaceful. As for the point about the mainstream media lies, I came across a very interesting video the other day. I think this occurred either before or after one of the earlier protests. This one on Saturday was the 3rd protest, so protesters calling all of them Nazis, painting them all as far right, but it might in fact just be a counter-protester. It's not clear who they're arguing with, so just
Ich kann nicht mehr in die Stadt gehen mit meinen Enkelkindern und meine Frau. Meine Schwiegertochter ist vor kurzem in die Stadt gegangen. Da war ein Pulk. Arabischer Bürger, junge Männer, gut gekleidet, schick, modernes Handy. Die sind immer vorbeigelaufen. Ficky, 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 Ficky. Das sag ich, ist das normal? Wenn ich das vor 4 Jahren gesagt hätte, hätten sie mich weggenommen als Sexualstraftäter. Bloß bei denen, Warum winken Sie da ab? Das ist die Wahrheit. Haben Sie sich mal den Strafbefehl angeguckt, den Haftbefehl? Was der schon auf dem Kerbholz hatte. Als Deutscher gehst du in den Knast, wenn du deine Steuern nicht zahlen kannst. Und solche Leute bleiben auf freiem Fuß. Ist unverständlich. Unverständlich ist das. Und dann sind von den anderen Tatbeteiligten, die noch mit daran beteiligt waren, die sind immer noch auf freiem Fuß und können weitermachen. Ja, da sind noch 8 dabei und die finden sie ja gar nicht. Die werden sie gar nicht finden. Die stechen die Nächsten dann wieder ab. Ja, klar. Und wissen Sie, warum es die Randale am Sonntag gab? Da ist einer an dem Grab oder an der Stelle vorbeigegangen, ein arabischer Bürger, und hat gesagt, scheiß Deutschen. Und da haben die den Arsch getreten. Das war der Grund. Und das haben die nicht gebracht. Dass die den Arsch getreten haben, das haben die gebracht.
Drehen sie es immer andersrum.
Genau, so ist
Jeder ist ein Nazi, der sich darüber aufregt, über diese unhaltbaren Zustände hier im Land.
Und genau das wollte ich damit zum Ausdruck bringen.
Ach, zum Ausdruck bringen.
Sie wollen
Logisch.
zum Ausdruck bringen. Ich möchte, dass hier geredet wird. Ja, geredet wird, ja, aber Sie leugnen doch alles. Ja, Sie leugnen alles. Sie leugnen das doch. Natürlich.
I think this video does a very good job showcasing that the majority of people who are attending these rallies aren't even necessarily very political. They're not part of a political movement. They sure as heck aren't Nazis or far right. A lot of them are just average German citizens. It's not clear who they're arguing with, so just keep that in mind when you watch this video, but of course the effect of it is going to be the same.
Verstehen's nicht?
Sie verstehen nicht. Ich verstehe es, weil ich
Schauen Sie mal.
das eben nie verstehe.
Schauen Sie mal, ich bin
Genau
ein
das
ehrwürdiger Bürger.
Auch die Deutschen, uns Deutschen, allen geht es schlecht. Ja,
Wem geht's allen schlecht?
aber ihr könnt das doch nicht.
Mir geht's doch nicht schlecht. Mir geht's doch nicht schlecht. Warum soll es
Das war
mir
ja
schlecht
klar.
gehen?
Ja, nee.
Ich hab 40 Jahre gearbeitet. Ich hab 40 Jahre gearbeitet.
Das ist dann ein Problem.
Ich kann nicht mehr in die Stadt gehen mit meinen Enkelkindern, meine Frau, meine Schwiegertochter ist vor kurzem in die Stadt gegangen. Da war ein Pulk arabischer Bürger, junge Männer, gut gekleidet, schick, modernes Handy. Die ist noch nicht mal vorbeigelaufen. Ficky, 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 Ficky. Das sag ich, ist das normal? Wenn ich das vor 4 Jahren gesagt hätte, hätten sie mich weggenommen als Sexualstraftäter. Los bei denen, Warum winken Sie da ab? Das ist die Wahrheit.
Haben Sie sich mal den Strafbefehl angeguckt, den Haftbefehl? Was der schon auf dem Kerbholz hatte. Als Deutscher gehst du in den Knast, wenn du deine Steuern nicht zahlen kannst. Und solche Leute bleiben auf freiem Fuß. Ist unverständlich. Unverständlich ist das. Und dann sind von den anderen Tatbeteiligten, die noch mit daran beteiligt waren, die sind immer noch auf freiem Fuß und können weitermachen.
Ja, da sind noch 8 dabei und die finden sie ja gar nicht. Die werden sie gar nicht finden. Die stechen die Nächsten dann wieder ab. Ja, klar. Und wissen Sie, warum es die Randale am Sonntag gab? Da ist einer an dem Grab oder an der Stelle vorbeigegangen, ein arabischer Bürger, und hat gesagt, scheiß Deutschen. Und da haben die den Arsch getreten. Das war der Grund. Und das haben die nicht gebracht. Dass die den Arsch getreten haben, das haben die gebracht.
Drehen sie es immer andersrum.
Genau, so ist
Jeder ist ein Nazi, der sich darüber aufregt, über diese unhaltbaren Zustände hier im Land.
Und genau das wollte ich damit zum Ausdruck bringen.
Ach, zum Ausdruck bringen. Sie wollen zum Ausdruck bringen.
Ich möchte, dass hier geredet wird.
Ja,
geredet
wird, ja, aber Sie
leugnen doch alles.
Ja, Sie leugnen alles.
Sie leugnen das doch.
Natürlich.
I think this video does a very good job showcasing that the majority of people who are attending these rallies aren't even necessarily very political. They're not part of a political movement. They sure as heck aren't Nazis or country. And this has so they know this is happening because to make all and I.
To show them that we are here, that we have these problems in Germany, and that there are still people who stand up against it.
Actually, I came here because I think it's very important that there will be some kind of sign, because in Germany there are many things that go terribly wrong, and I wish I wish there was a change, but we need to go out on the streets. We need to fight, but of course peacefully, for this country, for a home. And it can't be happening this way. I'm 13 years old only.
Wow.
And
it's incredible.
Thank you. And I think even if nobody listens, we need to have a voice. We need to call out, and we need to rise and just take back a home.
I never had such a big protest march going on, so this is the first time we have this, and so like we have candle and stuff like that, and
words clashes between it and time.
Today is August the 29th, 2018. My name is Gary Galino, and for a few
video clips, news, your phone calls coming up, so much more here today on this live Sunday edition. But the first thing I want to just state is, why is InfoWars under such attack? Why is it demonized so much by corporate media, by the Republican establishment, by the Democrat establishment, by foreign governments? What is it we're covering? Well, it's that there's a breakaway civilization. And that's not just a statement, it's true. Of the military-industrial complex controlled by a technological elite. Those are quotes from President Eisenhower in his farewell address in 1961. And a technological elite of eugenicists, that was the big craze up until the end of World War II. They went underground into the U.S. DARPA development system. Most of them were pro-Hitler. The others were pro-communist. They all believed in command and control, centralization by elites because they're the elites. And they've now established much of a world government that's based on austerity and based on racial division and based on balkanization and based on divide and conquer. And so we are coming at it from a position of it's unelected, it's unaccountable, it's corrupt, it doesn't have your interest in mind, it's very, very evil. We should say no to this. And people around the world are starting to say no to it. People around the world are starting to understand this. And instead of just being tribal about a football team or a baseball team or even your church, which isn't about Christ, but about the community of the church and most of these things, they're just social clubs. What about the human ethos of Renaissance and controlling your own destiny and being free that God really tried to build and give you a chance at? What about that first understanding of free will? And globalism is about a worldwide social credit score, a mark of the beast, where if you don't behave and do what they say, you're basically blocked off from society. You can starve to death. You try to live out in the country like the Amish or something, here come the armored vehicles because they say you're a cult. This is manifesting. This is happening. This is the big issue that we face as a civilization and as a society right now. So that's why they're trying to shut us down. Is because you can talk about left-wing or right-wing. You can debate fascism versus anti-fascism. You can debate all this window dressing and all the deck chairs and furniture and silverware and cutlery and plates and china and the food being delivered onto the deck of the Titanic right as it hits that iceberg. But you've hit the iceberg. And so the question is, what are you going to do about it? And I'm the one pointing out the ship's listing and that Trump's trying to save the ship. He's got pumps going. They're trying to put fires out. And the average leftist is trying to sabotage that, saying that, you know, we've got to basically send the ship to the bottom, and that's how we fix things. And you've got Bill Maher, and you've got the other Democrats saying, let's have a depression. Let's teach Americans to submit. And you've got them so freaked out that we have a 4.6% growth rate, and they're doing everything they can to sabotage the productivity of this country and of capitalism, because they're the globalists. They already have a rigged economy. They already have private jets. They already have money. They want you to live in a two-party system where you're a communist on the ground having nothing, like a poor Chinese serf, but then the political party are all a bunch of billionaires who are above the law and can have you executed like that. It's called authoritarianism. It's not fascism. It's not communism. It's authoritarianism carried out by an oligarchy, a plutocracy. And if you don't know what those terms are, look them up and understand what we're facing. I keep seeing us still using Google as a search engine constantly. Google is worthless. It's a broken search engine. It doesn't work. Bing is Microsoft, but it's kind of the old Google search thing. DuckDuckGo's okay. Just want to point that out for TV viewers. Now, who are the globalists? What is their aim? What do they want to do? And when you find out how monstrous they are, when you find out how bad they are, when you find out how out of control they are, then it becomes exponential understanding that you've got to stop them, that you've got to do something to block them, because they are literally predatory and out to get you. The New York Times isn't a yellow journalism fake news outfit. It is a kingpin-owned, anti-American, robber baron, weaponized mafia, intimidation, weapon system run by stay-behind networks of Barack Hussein Obama and the foundations and the CIA publicly. And it freaks them out at the Washington Post, the New York Times, and CNN that are all part of the same group that I know this, because it's their religion that you're dumb scum. When they go to a barbecue in flyover country, they look at you as dumb, idiot bumpkins. And see, it rubs salt in their wounds that I have a Texas twang, and they've got this idea that Texans wipe their asses with corn cobs and that, you know, we ride horses to work. And so the fact that I am alpha male and I have a gravelly voice and I am confident and I am aggressive and I know more about their criminal operations than they do, that completely and totally flips them out. Because if you're a pinhead genetic psychopath like Zuckerberg or Eric Smith or Barack Obama, chosen because you come from lines of people that are absolutely evil, because you operate with no emotion except for domination of the innocent and to abort humanity, the spirit of pure Satanism, abort humanity, destroy humanity, toast the evil, dominate, destroy creation, become God. Because they come from blasphemous bloodlines. That's what it is. Committed to destruction of you and your family with laser hate focus. The fact that they see humanity struggling free from their spiritual bloodlust enrages them, and they see that I'm not afraid except for failure, and that I'm moving against them, and that we're building a community of people that care and using our own instincts and spirit not to worship football or some facsimile or some prosthesis, but the real thing. And as we pull away from their system, they become more and more and more panicked. And they don't know what to do. And they're scared. And so we're on the battlefield now with these people. But the reason we've been banned is we're talking about the real world. We're talking about the real system. We're talking about how it actually operates and pointing out who they are. And that's why they want us destroyed, because we have hope and we believe in you and you believe in us, and we formed a community. Now we come back, this whole McCain thing's a giant distraction and sickening, but from this evil we can learn something. So we'll play some of these key clips of the scripting and look at the message behind the globalist vampire's overall operation.
Hey guys, my name is Savannah Hernandez, and if you're always on the go like me, then you're not always tied to your computer or TV. So we just released our free InfoWars official app. The InfoWars official app includes all of our live broadcasts like War Room with Owen Schroyer, Real News with David Knight, and the holy grail of podcast and radio, The Alex Jones Show. And the best part about the InfoWars official app is that every single time we go live, you get notifications so that you never miss a beat. The InfoWars official app integrates some of the most up-to-date news stories, reports, and specials from the InfoWarsStore.com. So whether you're in the car or on a run, this app makes it easy to keep the InfoWar right in your pocket. So what are you waiting for? Download the InfoWar official app for tomorrow's news today for free from the Apple Store or in Google Play.